There comes a moment when the life you knew slips through your fingers. Dreams unravel, identities fade, and what once defined you no longer fits. It can feel like the end, but hidden in that breaking is a beginning, an invitation to return to the truest version of yourself. This is the work of becoming, not rebuilding what was lost, but allowing what is real, what is divine, to rise from the ashes and guide you forward. Welcome to Divine Redirect. I'm Lucille, and I'm glad you're here with me today. Before we get into today's topic, I want to remind you to watch episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Divine Redirect, where I share with you the journey of my life being detoured by business loss, divorce, foreclosure, car repossession, loss of identity, and how God is redirecting me on the path leading me home to myself. Today, we will discuss that since we're on this journey of redirection, starting over, and becoming, we should take advantage of this opportunity to align who we are with who God created us to be. We'll step into the quiet power of what it means to live authentically. Author James Scott Bell coined the phrase, the mirror moment. Bell described this as the moment when a storyline character is forced to look at themselves as if in a mirror. It is a moment in time when one is forced to ask the question, who am I? What have I become? What do I have to do to regain myself or my lost identity? Bell states that every good character must have a mirror moment for the story to be good. We should all want our lives to be a good story. I know I do. A story worth telling, a story with lessons learned, a tale with lessons worth being taught. We should all have our mirror moments. Such a moment occurred for me the same year my journey of redirection began. The moment occurred shortly before any of the transitions that put me on a path of redirection. I didn't initiate my mirror moment by looking into a metaphorical mirror. It was my sister who held the mirror up to me. I didn't ask myself any of the I questions that James Scott Bell poses. While visiting with my husband and me, my sister noticed some changes in me. She held the mirror up to me by asking me the question, "What's happened to you?" I wasn't sure what she meant, so I questioned her, and she proceeded to list a few "you used to be" qualities I had possessed. Qualities that were no longer evident in the present me. Qualities of a more self-confident, more emotionally intelligent me. What she was seeing now on her visit was a me who had abandoned parts of myself. She said that I was hesitant and timid in making decisions, and that I constantly second-guessed the ones I did make. I already knew that something was missing from the me I used to be. I just had not slowed down long enough to process and identify what it was. So I was surprised to hear it coming from a much younger sister I had helped to raise. This mirror moment was the beginning of my journey of discovery, rediscovery, self-discovery, and reimagining. Even before my husband left the marriage, I had made a mental declaration to reclaim my true self. But first, I had to figure out who that was, my true self, the authentic me, because maybe it was more than any life I had lived before. As I have traveled this journey, I have come to realize some necessary steps in discovering the authentic life. The first step in knowing your true identity, your authentic self, is knowing the source of your identity. That is where the answer lies. I am going to give you two scriptures to reflect on in this journey to authenticity. The first one is 1 Corinthians 15:10. But by the grace of God, I am what I am. In this verse, Paul is presenting himself to the church as one of the apostles charged to preach the gospel. Paul made his claim first by telling them that his previous life of persecuting the church should have disqualified him from this privilege. But the difference between his previous life and the authentic life he was now living was the grace of God. Paul now knows what Jesus always knew concerning him when he said, "This man is my chosen instrument to proclaim my name to the Gentiles and their kings and to the people of Israel." But Paul didn't know it, and he was not living it. Like most of us, Paul lived other than his authentic self for most of his life. As with Paul, by God's grace, I am what I am. You are what you are. The second verse I want you to reflect on for knowing your authentic self is also spoken by Paul in Ephesians 2:10. For we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, which God hath before ordained that we should walk in them. Whether you use the word handiwork, workmanship, or masterpiece, they all denote authentic, original, specific, and unique creations of the master creator, God. But somehow, we spend many years of our life playing the roles assigned to us by others. We are imitations who have contorted our image to fit whatever environmental mold we are in. We learned to conform and go along to get along. We play small parts so others will be comfortable around us. The value of knowing who you are authentically is that you are a unique masterpiece having value and purpose. Which leads to the second step in discovering our authentic selves. Found in the same scriptures, it is to find out what we were created for. What are the good works God created me for? Jesus gives the answer for Paul's good works, his purpose, my chosen instrument to proclaim my name. He will do the same for you and me. Prior to my life's detour, I had spent most of my career in corporate, government, and business positions. But if you keep listening, you will see that God didn't direct me to something brand new. He redirected me back to what was already in me. What was in me from the time He created me? A caregiver. If God is redirecting your life, everything you do along the way, every experience you encounter, will contribute to who you were created to be and what you were created to do. The third step in this process is to identify what you are passionate about. What comes naturally to you? What have you been doing without even thinking about it? In my journey of redirection, God redirected me back to something that was in me as a child, something I forgot along the way, a caregiver. After I had taken the corporate and business route, He redirected me back to the authentic me He created me to be. When I was about 12 years old, after school, I would help a neighbor who had cancer. Even at 12, I knew that was something special. When I was 16, my mother died. And although I was not the oldest, I was the one who helped my father care for my newborn sister and my other younger sisters. As a young adult in my 20s, I sometimes brought forgotten seniors from the nursing home, people I didn't know, into my home on holidays. In my 30s and 40s, I was either visiting seniors who lived alone, or I fixed lunches and passed them out to the homeless in the park on the weekends. These were things I just did naturally. I put no label on them or tried to make them into a vocation. I just did them. So then when I was in my 50s, after my business and my marriage ended, after my home was repossessed, when my life took this massive detour, God used this detour to redirect my life back to the authentic masterpiece He created me to be and to the good works He had prepared me for long before. Remember in episode 3, when moving forward feels like going backward, I laid out my journey of moving forward where God redirected me to. Caring for pregnant teen girls. Then, teen girls who had been rescued from commercial sexual exploitation. Later, homeless mothers and children. I then worked as a hospital chaplain. Whether as a chaplain, caring for the sick, taking care of pregnant teens, or coaching homeless mothers, caregiving was the good works I was created for. And it was a passion before I even knew it. What can you identify from your childhood and your younger years that just came to you naturally? As a child, what was your role in the family? Or what role did you usually play? Whatever it was, that just might be your good works. That might be your I am what I am. That just might be the authentic you. Step 4 of unveiling your authentic self is to use this time of redirection to discover what other latent gifts and talents you have. There are certain seasons in our lives that we don't have or take the time to explore the things we want to do. We can be so busy meeting the demands of others around us and the life we have created for ourselves that we ignore the voice beckoning us forward. The thoughts lurking in the back of your mind, beckoning you to try this or try that. But know that despite all your losses, when your life detoured, there are some things you may have gained in this redirection. The gift of time, the gift of solitude, the gift of mindfulness, the gift of discovery. I never knew that I had a gift or love for writing before my life took me on the detour I was on. It was only as I was in the job of living in the facility, taking care of teen girls, that I began to use the nights to write down my thoughts and feelings. Some of the prose you hear at the beginning of my videos came from those times of discovery. I began to notice I had a way with words and of expressing myself. Before then, I didn't know that I was a latent writer to someday become a published author. So use this time of redirection to discover more about yourself. You are a masterpiece, a divine creation. Uncover all of the intricate details you possess. The fifth and final step we will explore on this journey toward authenticity is to do self-discovery assessments. Few of us are readily able to respond to such prompts as, "Who am I?" or the often posed interview request, "Tell me about yourself." We are unable to identify what makes us uniquely us. These self-discovery assessments can also be experienced as mirror moments that take you deeper into an awareness of who you are. Some areas you will want to survey in this assessment are: what is my personality type? I have listed in the Mirror Moments PowerPoint some of the personality assessment tools that you can use to discover your type. Another area you will want to address in a self-assessment is: what values do I hold sacred? What are the things I value above all others? It can be family, faith, friends, finances, integrity, education, justice, the environment, and an endless number of other areas. Knowing your values is a major component in the decision-making process in your life, and it also helps you to understand the decisions you are making. Emotional intelligence is another area you will want to assess. Here you are answering the question of, how well am I in tune with my emotions? Such as, do I know why I do what I do? What caused me to feel the way I am feeling at this moment? Do I understand what things trigger me and why? What are my fears and why? What makes me angry and how do I respond to that anger? But emotional intelligence isn't just about you. You will have better relationships and interactions if you are aware of some of the same things about others around you. Why is my child or coworker acting this way? What triggers them? Emotional intelligence is your ability to handle your emotions and responds to the emotions of others in difficult situations. As this video is coming to a close, I want you to think of someone you know who will benefit from learning how to discover their authentic life and then begin to live it. I would love to read your comments below to hear how this channel might be helping you, and then share my channel with others so they can benefit also. Finally, there are 3 quotes that I came to cherish on my journey to authenticity. I want to share them with you here. Psychologist Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." This journey you and I are on to discover our authentic selves isn't to be taken lightly. It is a privilege that many never embark on. My prayer is that you will enjoy the privilege and the journey. Acclaimed author George Eliot, whose real name is Mary Ann Evans, said, "It's never too late to be who you might have been." I fell in love with this quote because when I embarked on my journey of self-discovery, I was in my late 50s. After reading Miss Eliot's story, I was greatly encouraged to know that I wasn't too late. The timing was just right for me to start living authentically. South African President Nelson Mandela spoke these words, "There is no passion to be found in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." Know that you are most capable of living the life you were created for. Living your life authentically, being who you were created to be, can be a life filled with passion. Cherish it. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to getting together with you in our next video. And until next time, you may have come here seeking answers and found a mirror instead, not to reflect who the world sees, but to remember who you are. Now, with each breath, you walk more freely, not toward a destination, but deeper into your own becoming.